Oh, lovely. Thank you, Thomas, for that. Thomas, are you dying of coronavirus? Welcome to Geeks and Gaijins. What an intro.
We're live on the scene at the latest epidemic.
It has transferred through the microphones.
The latest epidemic of coronavirus is sweeping the nation. England is trapped in a panic.
Which nation? All of them.
All of them.
At once.
It's now moved over from that one strange place over in the east and is now just everywhere. And everyone is losing their collective over it.
Yeah, no, guys, don't worry. It'll be fine. I'm living in Japan. We're all fine right now. You'll be fine as well. Just stop buying so much toilet paper. Seriously. Like
that joke's not been beaten into the ground enough.
I know, but still, it's like the thing is, my town has a paper mill right next to it. I went into the shops and literally just like the first thing was just piles of toilet roll. I'm like, is the supermarket flexing on me? Just like, yeah, we got toilet paper and tissues and all these things. I'm like, okay. It's like, I did need some loo roll, but I'll buy one packet. No, why not buy 20? You can, because we got it. Okay, I'm gonna leave now. You better pay for that loo roll.
Yeah, no need to worry about just general supplies running out, apart from apparently the doomsday preppers and the price gougers buying up massive amounts of stock, because believe it or not, we actually produce an awful lot of products, maybe more than we actually need. And usually there's not a limitation on how much we have. It's just the only concern right now is whether we can keep the food production and distribution systems rolling over whilst everyone's staying indoors.
Well, enough of this concern about some kind of quarantine, because we are here to entertain you people who are stuck indoors.
Is that what we're here for? I missed that memo at some point. Was that what I was supposed to be doing until now?
I stuck it to my computer screen. I was hoping it could somehow transfer through the internet. Because if you weren't sure, we're Geeks and Gaijins. So if you weren't sure, I'm the Gaijin John.
I'm the Geek Tom.
And we are here to entertain you in the dark hours of, well, March.
Because we now have a captive audience.
Yes.
Got nothing better to do, so listen to us.
And be happy, yay, because fun stuff's happening in the world and you'll be fine. I believe in you.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Gambate. Gambate. That means good luck. Well, no, you can do it. Yokuyada. Well done. Anyway, do you know what is making self-isolation look extremely promising for me this Friday?
Oh, so perfectly timed.
Exactly. It's Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch. I'm so excited.
I think it's made a lot of people very happy.
It's so... Okay, for those who don't know, first of all, what Animal Crossing is a Nintendo game where you have your own little town and you just do stuff. It is a game that is the most casual of relaxing games where you go fishing, you build your house, you mess with stuff, you visit your friends, you catch bugs, you find fossils. It's just so relaxing. It's so relaxing.
Yeah, it's a life simulator similar to like Harvest Moon or The Sims, if slightly more fun.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. And it is coming out this Friday, both in Japan and around the world. But the different thing about this Friday in Japan is it's a national holiday, which is, I assume, why they're releasing it this Friday. Or also a reason that I will be awake at 1 a.m. on Friday.
There's absolutely no need for that at all.
Yes, there is, because my Nintendo Switch has it pre-ordered digitally. Yeah.
Goodness sake, John. Stop advocating for negative consumer practices on my podcast. Mine. Definitely mine.
What, of waking up from a short nap to play my favourite game on a national holiday? What?
No, pre-ordering, but that too.
I want to play. I actually want to play it as soon as it comes out, which is, I know, strange, despite Thomas's communism. The main thing that is happening this Friday in Japan is called Higan.
What's Higan all about, John? I have absolutely no idea. You haven't told me anything.
Nope, I never do. Higan is the Shunbun. It's the spring equinox, basically. So Japan has national holidays on both the spring equinox and the autumn equinox. These are the time when days are like supposed to be perfectly even between the summer and the winter.
Ah, that makes sense. Because the summer equinox is the longest day in the year, and the winter equinox is the shortest day in the year,
Yes, so it's the one between those ones.
where everything is perfectly balanced, as all
Indeed.
things should be. Am I a communist? Am I an anarchist? Am I a despot? Who knows? I'm throwing out all the signals today.
Find out next time on Your Political Life. It used to be a week. Now we only get a day. Damn inflation.
That's definitely deflation. That's definitely the reverse of that.
No,
But sure.
I don't know. But mainly, it used to be a Buddhist festival. And generally in Japan, it was associated with essentially the changing of the seasons almost. Because after the spring equinox, essentially it starts to get warmer here. And essentially you're through the worst of winter and the worst part of spring. So you're like, oh, it's going to get so much better now. And the autumn equinox is kind of like, oh no, we're going into the winter.
Must be nice.
Yeah, well,
Hello? Can I get some of that warmth, please?
it is currently 2 degrees Celsius here.
Ah, I wish that were me.
Dear.
Actually, no, it's kind of sunny today. We haven't had no, too bright. It's been all right.
I did go into work today in short sleeve shirts, and people just look at me crazy. I'm like, I might not sound like it, but I'm from the north, I promise.
Well, if you're wearing a short sleeve shirt and shorts in this weather, you definitely are from the north.
Yeah, it's basically this idea. It was originally like, I hope all the harvest will be really nice in the future, but now we get a day off of work instead.
Dope.
Essentially, it used to be to do with lots of temple worship, so like 7 days of worship. But the thing I think you'd quite like is associated maybe with Animal Crossing and also flowers, because I'm so prepped to get all my flowers ready in my imaginary garden. Yes, because I live in an apartment. I live in Japan. It's tiny.
You're a millennial. You can't afford land.
This is literally it appeals to the millennial dream of paying off a mortgage and not being in crippling debt and hanging out with friends.
I mean, you are always in crippling debt in Animal Crossing, but you can pay it off whenever you feel like it, and you actually have a stable source of income in the form of shells.
I wish I could go into the estate agent here and throw random fruit at them. Knowing the Japanese price of fruit, I'd probably overpay. One of the main things, which is more to do with the autumn equinox, but these are a lot of stuff seen in Japan, is in Japanese they're called the Higan bana, which are also called in the West, they're called spider lilies. There are the red kind of very thin flowers. You see them a lot in anime. They're very like red and thin, and they tend to be planted around rivers. I will give Thomas 2 seconds to Google this, and you can at home as well.
Japanese spider lilies. Oh, yes. Oh, God, I remember these from the end of every episode of Demon Slayer.
Yes, and they're in everything ever. It's because the Higan flower, which is also known as the Manju Shage, is dead person's flower.
Oh, fun.
You're not supposed to pick because the bulb of the flower contains deadly poison.
I mean, opium is also poison, but, might have a fun time whilst I'm inhaling it, so how bad are we talking here?
This is why I will say in Japan is why they're associated with so many anime, like why so many people end up falling dead into like fields of red flowers. These flowers themselves they originally planted them basically next to rivers to try and stop like animals and stuff getting into the rivers because poisonous plants. And then they made the plants and the poisons into paper, and essentially it made insect repellent paper.
Oh, neat. So it's like fly paper, but instead of getting them stuck, it sends them away instead, which is a much better way of doing that.
But apparently, according to my Big Book O Japanese facts,
Nice.
you could actually eat them because when the poison in the bulb is exposed to water, you can then take the starch, it essentially washes it away. No, do not try this at home. I'm not taking any responsibility for listeners dying from eating Japanese spider lilies.
Luckily, I don't have any Japanese spider lilies growing in my local river, so I think I shall be fine for now.
All right. Well, essentially, that you could expose them to water, and then you could make the starch of the bulbs into dumplings. Poison dumplings. No, not poison dumplings.
But not poison dumplings, because all the poison's been washed away, or whatever.
The main idea is why also they're like a dead person's flour, is that's essentially the last resort of what you're eating. You're eating the possibly poisonous thing in times of utter starvation.
Japan, we need to talk about you and eating things that could probably poison you if you're not careful. Like
fugu, fugu, fugu.
I appreciate that, like, modern Japan is full of depressed people who would probably are okay with dying, but like this seems to be like a long-running cultural thing you've got going, and I'm very concerned.
I'm sure we'll all be fine, and that's why we need to play more Animal Crossing.
How has this country survived so long?
Sheer force of will.
Scotland, is that you?
Yeah, well, they do both love frying things in batter. Tempura, fried Mars bar. Together in perfect harmony.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, no, it actually does sound good.
Anyway, you were segueing.
I was segueing back to talking about Animal Crossing, because in Japanese it's not called Animal Crossing, it's called Dobutsu no Mori.
Which means what exactly?
I'm not going to tell you. No, it means...
Shut up.
It means animal forest.
Yeah, okay.
It's literally animals forest, or forest of the animals.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes as much sense as Animal Crossing, because there's not really that much crossing going on in Animal Crossing. So,
well, in the first game, it was all to do, you were like in a small village next to a city, so it was all about making your little town. Whereas this one's on an island, and so Animal Crossing and both Animal Forest are both exceedingly irrelevant.
well, it's New Horizons. The subtitle means everything, John.
Well, I'm so excited, and it's seriously...
Go on, tell us all about how you're excited for this game, John. Get us hyped.
So, Animal Crossing is, as I've said before, just a lovely, relaxing game. I've played New Leaf on the DS, on the 3DS, and also, was it Wild World?
Wild World on the DS, yeah.
On the DS. I played both of them. Also, notably, the first game I got when I was 10, and just a bit of nostalgia, I got a pre-owned version, which means when, in the old days, when the save data was on the cartridge and not on your machine, looking at you, Nintendo Switch, you could... I had the last person's game data on there, and they had totally completed the entire game. So I got to sit around in like a massive, like already created house with just doing everything like that you could in the game. And I was like, yeah.
What did you do?
I did
There's
that.
nothing to do once you've collected everything.
I did that for a little bit, got bored, and then restarted the game. But it was
that
like
makes sense.
But it was like a great like vision of what you can, like what can be possible.
That's fair, because when I booted up Wild World for the first time, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, because it's such a like chill game. You don't have stuff that you need to do. It's just like you just make fun. You make your own fun. And this one particularly, there's lots of like new things. Like you can, I don't want to say terraforming because that sounds like a sci-fi movie. It's like, you will terraform this island. No, you get to come to this new island and you can change its geography. So you can put its rivers where you want to. You can place all the different houses. It's basically Minecraft, but with a game attached. Yes, come at me.
I mean, I think you're scratching slightly different itches with the sandbox nature of Minecraft and the sort of like It's not really town management. It's very light on those aspects, I guess.
It's definitely life simulator. But like chill. It's not
Yeah,
like you're not having kids or something. You're just sitting. You're on a desert island with your animal friends.
You don't have to worry about starving to death or anything like that. You can just sort of meander around, pick stuff up, decorate your house how you like, catch some bugs and give them to a museum if that's your jam.
Oh, it's so my jam. I'm excited for that museum. The museum, have you seen okay, we will finish this section in just a bit, but Thomas, have you seen the preview of what the museum looks like?
I have not seen the preview of what the museum looks like. What does the museum look like,
It's
John?
like it's full like 3D, like all the dinosaur skeletons, you can walk under them, and also like the fish you can. It has like a proper like aquarium thing where I think I saw this. You have like a shark tunnel, so like the fish can go. I think this is true. It might just be my imagination inventing things that I want, but like, I'm so excited, and just anything is gonna be fun for me right now. It's so good. Animal Crossing is just it's such a great game, and it deserves the 20 minutes that we spent talking about it.
The dinosaurs fossil selection were definitely the best part of the museum for me, as was Blathers. Blathers is a great little
I love
cutie
Blathers.
pie.
Blathers is the owl who is extremely sleepy and therefore my spirit animal.
He's also terrified of insects, which is hilarious. Or at least he was back in Wild World.
I just want Brewster the pigeon back. I want that.
I never quite understood the coffee shop section of the museum, but it was nice to have.
That's the thing. There's no point to it. It's just Brewster is the pigeon who serves coffee, and like he's just like really brusque and yeah, coffee. And then like as you would go to him daily, you could only get 1 cup of coffee a day. He'd like slowly be nicer to you, and that was the whole point of going there and having a cup of coffee. And it was so rewarding.
I don't know. I feel like you're going to an awful lot of effort to impress a fake pigeon, John. I feel like this might not be a fairly balanced relationship you're building.
Welcome to the story of John's life.
Wait, I was the Brewster all along.
And on that slightly dark note, it's snack break time.
Time for something sweet.
Indeed. Well, hopefully this is sweet, because today, Thomas, those keen-eyed of you on the Instagram who might have seen at the Gaijin John,
in
the background of the Sakura Doriaki that was last week.
Yes. That lovely. Definitely good. Yeah. That thing.
This week, there is one thing that Japan is obsessed with.
Wait. Only one thing. Only one thing that Japan is obsessed with.
It is one of the numerous things that Japan is obsessed with.
That's a little better.
And that is jelly.
Yes, for our American listeners, because I know we have some of those, should we explain what the difference between jelly and Jell-O is here?
No.
Okay, so we're not going to explain that Americans for some reason call jelly Jell-O, and that when we say jelly, we don't actually mean jam.
When we say jelly, we don't actually mean jam.
Yes. They call jam jelly because it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which means it's a peanut butter and jam sandwich. And then Jell-O is jelly for some reason. Or jelly is Jell-O.
I think we've done a pretty good job there not explaining it.
I think we've done a fantastic job not discussing how we're not going to explain those basic differences in our dialects, yes.
It's like, I teach English. What is this?
I just am English.
How dare you?
It does feel like that sometimes. It's some jelly. Yellow. That is a lot of text on that label. I don't know how anyone's going to be able to read all that.
So this jelly, first of all, is only 15 calories. Thank you very much.
That is very few calories. But then again, it's mostly water. So what are you going to do?
Yes. So jelly is really popular in Japan. You can get them either like the little like sucky packets of it, and I don't know how to describe them. They're little plastic packets that you just like suck on and the jelly comes out of it.
Yep. Carry on. Yep. I'm
Oh,
a
dear.
child.
Notably, a lot of the jelly here is not made of like pork gelatin or things like that. It's made out of a special root, which means a lot of jelly here is actually vegetarian because it's not
neat.
made. It's made out of a special kind of root. So you also get a lot of savory jelly. I'll try and find some of that. It's called konnyaku. I don't know whether this is konnyaku, but this flavor of this specific jelly is Maya lemon from Saga and nata de coco. I thought I just got mixed tropical. I did not look. I obviously got some fancy lemon jelly
Ooh, lemon now. That does sound good.
from Saga, or as we both know it from anime, Saga.
Yes, because sadly, much like most people, my only understanding of Japanese culture and society is through idol shows about zombies. So,
Ooh, that was fun. I don't know if the mic picked that up. But
what
no,
was
so
that noise, John?
it was the jelly. Because guess
I hope
what?
so.
You disgust me. But no, here we go. Itadakimasu. That's really good. It's like, it's not super sweet. This is not the best sounds to be on radio. Yeah.
Can I mute? Can I mute you from here, please? Thank you.
There's also bits of
Just-
fruit in the bottom, which I'm trying to get to and failing.
What, just like little fruit chunks or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is actual lemon, but it looks like.
They don't really show up in the picture you sent me. It just looks like it's just jelly.
No, it's at the bottom. I think it's actually
Weird.
bits of coconut.
Oh, I think I can see it. The little paler sections at the bottom, yeah.
Yeah. No, this is really nice. It's not very sweet. And Japan is still kind of in that 1970s, 1980s approach to a lot of food. That I'm like, oh my god, jelly exists. We must put jelly everywhere. So they will have it. They'll have savory jellies in like salads. Like that's what konnyaku and stuff happens a lot of. Konnyaku is also very healthy because it's just a root. There's nothing in it. So you can.
Nice.
And a lot of Japanese food is all about the texture. And so especially jelly, it gives you a different texture with lots of stuff.
It's all about the mouthfeel.
Exactly. And so that needs to be added to your desserts, as was shown by this Saga lemon jelly, which I give a Junko out of 10.
Very short lived, you mean?
Well, this jelly will be. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Fair enough.
Zombieland references. Totally not limiting our audience.
Oh, that Junko. I was thinking of a different Junko.
Yeah,
Man,
not
Junkos have a rough time of it, don't they?
reference to both Danganronpa, which we are playing on Twitch at Geeks and Gaijins.
Whenever we can. Right, do we have something to round out the show now, John?
No, I'm just eating my jelly.
Fair enough.
How are you, listeners?
Tell us all about your day. I'm sure you've had a pretty rough time of it wherever you are, considering, everything's being slightly upended as everyone's just trying to take a emergency measure to deal with something that probably could have handled a lot better if they'd planned ahead.
But we're here for you.
Seriously, South Korea was right next to China and they managed to handle it pretty well all the way up until this one guy decided not to follow the rules. So,
But we're here for you, and we talk about silly anime and jelly. If you want to, you can vent. Please vent. We'll listen.
This is turning slowly into one of those Twitch streams where someone just eats food and talks to you.
Pretty much how much of this is making the edit, I have no idea.
Oh, hopefully absolutely none of it, because I'm not planning on saying anything of worth for the next, 10 minutes until you finish that jelly that really looked like it was only a spoonful or such. And I'm honestly wondering how it's taking you this long to eat all of it.
Well, you did say you're not going to say anything of value for the next 10 minutes. I don't think you had been for the last half an hour, but there we are.
Starting as I mean to go on. I'd like to be consistent in my work, John.
Indeed. Once again, that jelly, a Junko out of 10.
Sweet but short-lived. Like it.
Exactly. Now, Thomas,
Yes.
do you play the video games?
On occasion. It's been a while since I've probably dedicated myself to a video game, but I do like to distract myself with one from time to time.
Well, Japan is known for two extremely famous video game companies.
Really? What are they?
Those are both the Sonys and the Nintendogs.
Mm-hmm. Or as my mum calls them, the Nintendos. And the Nintendos.
All the Nintendos. Well, for a long time, you might have said, if your mum said, "Oh, I'll get you that Sony Nintendo, that Nintendo PlayStation," you'll be like, "Mum, I'm 26. Please, stop asking me what I want for my birthday."
It's money. It's always going to be money. Money and chocolate, God's sake.
Want away the way to Thomas's heart.
I think it's a perfectly reasonable set of conditions, John, and you shouldn't shame me for it.
No, I'm not. Well, sadly, basically everything video game related has been, well, not cancelled, but like E3, the big video game conference, has been cancelled.
Oh, no.
Yes, due to that which must not be named.
What a tragedy.
This, for our foreign listeners, is the classic British sarcasm.
But the people at E3 are just going, yes, thank God we can have this excuse not to deal with this bullshit again this year. Remember last time that they just doxed a whole bunch of people who attended their convention? That was a good year.
I did not prepare for this part of the section. No. For those who are really, this is a happy part of the podcast, or not. Sony and Nintendo. Sony is, of course, very famous for both like TVs and making bad animated movies. It's also famous for the Sony PlayStation. Now, the Sony PlayStation was only actually created after making a prototype with Nintendo. This was announced, and then was it like the day later, Thomas?
A day after they revealed the Nintendo PlayStation, Nintendo went, actually, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to go partner with Philips, Sony's rival, and do something with them instead.
And of course, everyone has heard of the Philips CDR. Wait,
Yes.
no, they haven't.
Yeah, so they made like 200 prototypes of a Nintendo PlayStation, which combined it was like just basically the SNES, I believe, but with like a CD drive that you'd see in the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, and with basically Sony PlayStation plastered all over the thing. It's a very strange mixture of both.
Yeah, so they made 200 copies of this prototype, showed it off
in 1992.
Cancelled the project the next day and destroyed like all but one of the prototypes.
And why are we talking about this? Because that prototype was at auction.
Yes. Can't remember. It was a strange exchanging of hands, including like company bankruptcy and all that sort of stuff. But the guy who got his hands on one decided that he was going to take it up for auction.
After being offered how much for it, Thomas?
He was offered a little over $1 million US dollars for this device, but he thought, you know what, I could probably make more of it out of this if I auctioned it off. So with that confidence and, industry knowledge that that he had, he went into this auction and came away with a grand total of $360,000.
I'm waiting for $1 million at the end of that, Thomas.
$1,000.
Yes,
He
so
turned down a $1.2 million deal from a private buyer and ended up with $360,000. So, whoops.
Yeah, actually, the guy will only get 300 grand because 60 grand of that goes towards the auction house. It's their percentage.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Indeed. But I just thought that was a fun bit of thing in the news because I'm excited. What kind of different future would we have if the Nintendo PlayStation had taken off? Would there be 1,000 more characters in Super Smash Bros? Would we have Animal Crossing? These are the questions.
It's impossible to tell, although it is very interesting that Sony did get to keep the name of PlayStation and just proceeded to launch their own console.
I know.
Like a few years afterwards. And it's very nice to have that on the market. I think PlayStation's made an interesting contribution to the whole gaming market over the span.
I will say, because also the PlayStation is a really good name for a console. Like, I'm just saying, like, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo 64, like, Nintendo the GameCube is also, that's also a really good name for it. But, like, Xbox? What does an Xbox do?
It's a box that X's, obviously.
I thought it was a box where I kept my eggs, but other than that, no, it's just, it's a PlayStation. Wonderful. Where do you play? In the PlayStation. Where's the games? In the GameCube. Whereas, like, this is going back to, like, what was it? It was the Atari Jaguar. That's a name for a console. What do you want? I want the Jaguar. It's just a black piece of plastic. I want the Jaguar.
I guess the NES and the SNES for Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Nintendo Entertainment System are also fairly accurate names. It's just they're a bit of a mouthful.
Good. I will say they're good, but just PlayStation. There's something.
There's a reason that they've never changed that name and just only ever added numbers at the end of it.
Compared to the Xbox 2000 Super Megatron 5.
Yeah, I don't know what like 360 adds to my understanding of this game's console. It's not a sphere. It's not an X sphere, so I don't know what's going on.
It's the Xbox it's the game console in which you can most easily 360 no scope someone, Thomas. What are you? Some kind of noob?
Yes.
Say the last Modern Warfare I probably played was like Modern Warfare 2. Oh dear. That's when you don't need nostalgia from people in their mid-20s. You really don't.
It doesn't even count as nostalgia. It's
really
kind of
doesn't.
sad if we're nostalgic, really.
Oh, for those days of yore back in 2007. I remember everything was so much brighter and much full of hope. Gordon Brown was Prime Minister.
God, is that the standard you've set us? George W. Bush and George Brown. Sake, John. I mean, I could try and remember back to a better Prime Minister to be nostalgic about, but I legitimately can't, so...
There we go. And on
fair enough. Maybe Blair before he realised he was an idiot. Maybe that. I don't know.
On that bombshell, I tried to not make it a political show.
You failed.
No.
You always fail.
No. My conscience, is that you?
As if we have one of those.
Listen to us on all the things. Find us on the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Twitches. Listen to our other series. Thomas has things coming up on the YouTube channel as we speak.
As you speak, you say, as if I am not still stuck in production for that. And it will come out in an indeterminate amount of time. But you have a better scheduled show, so you're
still working on it as we speak.
I am still working on it as we speak. It's not coming out as we speak, which is what I thought you were implying.
Don't assume what I imply. That just makes an ass out of you and me.
Well, anyway, so what's your podcast episode going to be this week, John?
It is all on the city of Nara, and there's lots of deer and Buddhism, and more deer and Buddhism.
Nara?
Nara is right next to Kyoto, and it is Japan's capital for an entire 100 years, which very inventively, that time period is called in Japanese history the Nara period.
Kind of makes me wonder why I've never heard of this city before.
It's very famous for some tame deer, and I really want to go. I was going to go before the event occurred. I'm just going to call it the event from now on, and it sounds like I'm in some kind of young adult sci-fi book. Everything was all right until the event occurred. Then I had to wash my hands more. And
Or
not
one
just
of the Netflix Marvel spin-offs
the event.
that wasn't allowed to officially recognize that it was part of the MCU.
Indeed. And after this event, we'll see you next time. It's a bye-bye from me.
Maybe. We might have scared them all off with this episode. I don't really know.
Hopefully Editing John can fix it. No, I can't!
That's what we pray for every week, is that Editing John can fix it in post.
Bye, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.